We will read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. When Brahma saw the wonderful form of Anantashish. Third Canto, Chapter 8, verse 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Priksham Kshipantam Marito Paladre Sandhya Branive Rururukma Murtna Ratno Dadharo Shadiso Manasya Vanas Rajove Nubujan Gripangre. The Lord was shining with so much luster. He was dissipating the glories of an emerald mountain. His yellow cloth was eclipsing this mountain with the clouds of the sun at dusk. A precious crown ornamented his head and transcended the charm of the tops of the gold of that mountain. With the garland of flowers that were at his neck, he erased the beauty of the gems, the rivers, and the herbs and the flowers that were ornamenting his chest, the chest of this mountain. His arms surpassed the bamboos that resembled the arms of this mountain. His beautiful legs were as beautiful as the golden trees at the feet of this mountain, and also the flowers, the tulasis, at his lotus feet. Everything appeared like an emerald. His form was exceptionally glorious and worthy of worship. His waist and contained all the three worlds. It was resplendent with ornaments and divine clothes. Even that form embellished the ornaments. Through his deep compassion, the Lord exhibited one of his lotus feet, which fulfills the desires of the devotees who worship him with devotion. His toenails, his charming toenails, were illuminated by the rays of his nails that were shining like the moon. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Brahma saw the lotus feet of the Lord. They can fulfill all the desires of those who worship them, can satisfy their fruitive desire, the attainment, or to fulfill them as serving him. The words Vivikta Marga means that In this context, these paths were not mixed with desires to attain liberation or with fruitive activity, fruitive desire, but these pure paths appeared from the pure devotion of the devotees who worship the Lord through the path of regulated devotion or spontaneous. In relationships that are filled with neutrality, service, friendship, or other feelings, which means that the feet of the Lord fulfill the desires of those who desire to serve Him perfectly. He was showing only feet amongst His thousands of feet by putting them up a little bit. In this following verse, the fact that the Lord moved His eyebrows indicate that the form of the Lord, that Brahmasa, is Krishna. Other scriptures, they support that point. After passing the first half of my life, when the night was finished, I was meditating and I was praying the Lord, who appeared in front of me in the dress of a cowherd boy. Gopal Tapani Upanishad. The Brahma Samhita reveals also in which way Krishna revealed himself to Brahma. Thus, certain say that the expression, only showing one feet in this verse, express the form of Krishna when he crossed his feet, showing the palm of his feet, the sole of his feet. His toenails were like gracious petals, which were opened by the rays of his toenails, similar to the moon. Which is astonishing is that usually the lotus blossoms at the light of the sun and not at the light of the moon.
Namaste Sarasvati Deve Kolavani Pracharine Nirveshesha Sunyavadi Prachatya Dishatarine Panchakarpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhyaye Vacha Pachitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Le bhakta de Krishna.
Krishna's bhakta, he always sees the form of Krishna through the others' forms of Krishna. And of course, according to the qualification of a devotee, he can perceive more sweetness or opulence.
les chers dévots
The dear
de
devotees
Krishna
of Krishna and Braj,
ils ne peuvent
they cannot understand
que Krishna est.
that Krishna is God.
Et lorsque Krishna
And when Krishna
il est en présence de
is
ses
in the
purs dévots,
presence of his pure devotees,
ils n'ont aucune conscience
who have no
de
consciousness
ses opulences,
whatsoever of his
alors
opulences,
il oublie
then he forgets
qu'il est le Seigneur suprême.
that he is the Supreme Lord.
Et il s'absorbe
And he absorbs
dans un
himself
sentiment
thus
si doux
in such a sweet feeling
d'appartenir à ses dévots.
of belonging to his devotees.
C'est pourquoi
That is why
il dit,
he says,
par exemple dans les versets,
for example, in verses, Bhaktamam Abhijanati, that only
cette pure dévotion
this pure devotion can conquer me,
parce que cette dévotion
because this devotion
est tellement pure
is so pure
et tellement dénuée
and so
de
devoid
révérence
of reverence
qu'elle force
that it
le Seigneur
forces the Lord
à devenir
to become
le captif
the,
de l'amour de ses dévots.
the captive of the love of these devotees, the prisoner.
Et c'est quelque chose qui
And
se passe réellement.
it is something that happens really.
Krishna devient
Krishna comes,
contrôlé, complètement contrôlé.
becomes completely controlled.
Et c'est la seule manière
And it is the only way
de voir Krishna.
to see Krishna.
On ne peut pas voir Krishna
We cannot see Krishna
avec un amour ordinaire.
with an ordinary love.
C'est pourquoi
That is why
on suit dans la
We
terre des traces
follow in
des
the
habitants de Brahma.
we follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants
Même
of Braj.
Krishna lui-même,
Even Krishna himself,
lorsqu'il désire
when
comprendre
he desires to understand
l'amour que ses dévots ont pour ses pieds, par exemple,
the love that his devotees have for his lotus feet,
il prend la position
he takes
de son dévot,
the position of his devotee,
le plus élevé,
the most elevated,
radical.
Radhika.
Et c'est seulement
And it is only
par la miséricorde des bhaktas
after the mercy of the bhaktas
qu'on peut goûter de tels sentiments.
that we can taste such
Ce n'est
feelings.
pas possible.
It is not possible otherwise.
Par exemple,
For example,
quand on Maharaj,
when Nanda Maharaj,
il a voulu
he wanted
que Garga Muni
that Karga Muni
fasse la cérémonie de l'attribution du nom.
do the ceremony of the giving of the name.
Garga Muni, comme il était un sage,
Garga Muni, since he was a sage,
il avait conscience que Krishna était le
he,
Seigneur suprême.
he was conscious that Krishna was the Supreme Lord.
Mais
But
parce qu'il était entouré de
because
nombreux
he was surrounded by Nanda
Maharaj,
Maharaj,
de nombreux Vrajas,
Yashoda, and numerous Brajbasis,
il ne pouvait pas
he could not,
contrarier leurs sentiments.
he would not like
De toute façon,
go
il
against their
n'était pas-
feelings. Anyway, he didn't have the power.
On voit, par exemple,
We see, for example,
quand Uddhava est venu à Braj,
when Uddhava came to Braj
sous l'ordre de Krishna,
on the
pour
order of
apaiser
Krishna to
la
appease
séparation des Brajbasis,
the separation of the Brajbasis,
qui simplement étaient
who simply
transformés dans des statues.
were transformed into statues,
Et ils avaient même plus
and they
la
didn't even
possibilité de
have
verser des larmes,
the possibility to shed tears.
tellement qu'ils étaient
So much
en
they were
séparation de Krishna.
in separation from
Ou
Krishna,
alors,
or
leur forme brûlait,
the form was burning.
elle brûlait d'amour,
It was burning of
de
love,
séparation.
out of love and separation.
Les arbres ne donnaient plus de fleurs.
The trees were not giving
Tout était détruit.
leaves anymore, everything was
Leur vie
destroyed.
était partie.
Their life was gone.
Nichu.
Krishna.
Et pourtant,
And still,
Vishwanath Thakur explique
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur
que Krishna
explains
était présent,
that Krishna was present
parce qu'il ne sort jamais de
because he never comes out of
Vrindavan. Il ne
Vrindavan,
pouvait pas y croire.
and he could not believe it.
Bien que Krishna
Although Krishna
apparaissait parfois,
appeared sometimes,
il se condamnait simplement
he was condemning himself simply
d'avoir des illusions.
to have illusions.
Donc,
So,
Krishna ne pouvait pas
Krishna could not
aider les Vrajbasis
help the Brajbasis
à sortir de leurs conditions.
to come out of their condition.
Donc,
So,
à Dwarka,
in Dwarka,
en tant que Vasudev Krishna,
as Vasudev Krishna,
il envoya son meilleur ami.
he sent his best friend Uddhava,
Parce que Uddhava ressemble à
because Uddhava looks like Krishna.
Et
And
lorsqu'Uddhava,
when Uddhava,
il tenta
he attempted
de consoler en fait Nandama,
to console Mother Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda,
il réfléchit.
he was thinking,
Parce que lui, il avait conscience
because
que Krishna était Dieu.
he was conscious that Krishna was God.
Et il est venu à Braj
And he came in Braj
avec cette conscience.
with this consciousness of a Gyani.
Pourquoi on dit Gyani?
Why do we say Gyani?
C'est
It
une
is
personne,
a person,
niveau,
a devotee,
perçoit Krishna à
who
travers
perceives
les opulents.
Krishna through his opulences.
Il sait
He knows
qu'il est le Seigneur.
that he is the Supreme Lord.
Donc, qu'est-ce qu'a tenté Uddhava?
So what did
Il
Uddhava
s'est dit,
tried?
si j'explique à
He said, if I
Nanda
explain
Maharaj
to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda that Krishna is God, then they will stop their lamentation.
Pourquoi? Parce qu'ils
Why?
comprennent que
Because
Krishna n'est pas leur enfant.
they will understand that Krishna is not their child.
Donc, il a donné tellement
So
d'arguments.
he gave so many arguments.
Et
And
parce qu'ils avaient le respect d'Uddhava,
when they had the respect of
il était
Uddhava,
envoyé par
because
Krishna.
he was sent by Krishna,
Même si Nanda et
even
Yashoda
if Nanda and Yashoda,
ont essayé
they tried
d'accepter leurs
to
sentiments,
accept their feelings,
ça ne pouvait pas avoir d'effet sur eux.
it could not have any effects on them.
Et
And
il dit à Uddhava.
they said to Uddhava,
Et Uddhava,
and Uddhava,
pendant qu'il parlait,
while he was
il
speaking,
voyait la beauté
he
de
was
l'amour
seeing
de Nanda Maharaj.
the beauty of the love of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda.
C'est quelque chose
It is
qui
something
était extraordinaire.
that was
Ils
extraordinary,
ne pouvaient pas comprendre,
that they could not
qui
understand,
le dépassait.
and that was surpassing him completely.
En fait,
In
il
fact,
était lui-même
he was
un
himself
disciple
became
de l'amour des Brajavasis.
a disciple of the love of the
Et
Brajvasis.
c'était
And it
une des
was
raisons pourquoi
one of the
Krishna
reasons why Krishna sent him,
pour qu'il puisse
so that he could
voir,
see,
ressentir.
feel
Alors à un certain point,
up to a certain level, because Uddhava
il n'a pas cette capacité
doesn't have this capacity
d'expérimenter
to
les
experience the feelings
sentiments des Brajavasis.
of the Brajvasis.
Mais en face d'une
But
telle
in
dévotion,
front of such a devotion,
alors toute cette
then
connaissance
all of his
était
knowledge
renversée.
was
Et il était
thrown away,
illuminé par
and he
l'amour
was
au fur et à mesure
enlightened by that
d'essayer
love
d'enlever la
gradually
conception.
as he was trying to take away their conception. It was so wonderful,
Tellement magnifique.
so wonderful.
Et à la fin,
And
ça
at the
a
end,
augmenté
it only
l'amour de
increased
Nanda et Yashoda.
the love of Nanda and Yashoda for their child. It did the contrary effect.
Que dire des gopis?
What to speak of the gopis?
Uddhava, il est
Uddhava,
devenu complètement subjugué.
he became completely subjugated.
En fait, il parlait,
In fact, he was
il
speaking
apprenait en même temps.
and he was learning at the same time.
Donc,
So,
on voit que Vishwanath
we see that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in this purport,
bien que
although
elle traite de,
it speaks about
du serpent divin,
the divine snake,
il voit Krishna.
he sees Krishna.
Ce serpent a
This
des
snake
milliers de pieds.
has thousands of feet, it is
Il
explained,
voit juste
but he sees only 2 feet,
les beaux pieds de Krishna.
the beautiful feet of Krishna.
Krishna peut se reposer sur
Krish-
un de ses amis.
When Krishna can rest on one of his
Se
friends,
repose sous un arbre,
or put his back on the tree, and
sa douce
he shows
paume de pied,
his sweet feet sole,
qui est un merveilleux darshan.
which is a wonderful darshan.
Les sakas de Krishna
Krishna's sakas,
sont tous les Pranamasakas.
especially the Pranamasakas,
Parce que les Pranamasakas
because the Pranamasakas have a
connexion avec les sentiments
high connection with the intimate feelings of Krishna.
Ils peuvent percevoir ce que les autres ne peuvent pas.
They can perceive what others cannot perceive.
Pourquoi?
Why?
Parce qu'ils sont,
Because they are
imbibés
infused
des sentiments
with
Madhurya.
the Madhurya feelings.
Tout ce que Krishna ressent pour
Every, everything that Krishna feels for Radharani,
on ne peut pas dire qu'il n'y a pas de Madhurya puisqu'ils ressentent les sentiments pour
we cannot say they don't have Madhurya because they experience the feelings of Radharani. Certain Siddha, the Pranamasakas, they don't have Madhurya.
Ceux qui parlent comme ça,
Those who speak like that,
ils ne connaissent pas.
they don't know.
On ne peut pas tout connaître.
We cannot know everything.
Ils connaissent tout.
They know everything about Krishna's feelings.
Ils connaissent tout.
They know
le jardin de Krishna.
everything of the garden of the heart of Krishna. In his heart,
Il y a un jardin.
in the heart of Krishna, there's a garden.
Et qui est
And
quelle est la déité du cœur
who is the deity of,
du jardin de
of Krishna's heart,
du palais merveilleux
of the wonderful palace of Krishna?
Radhika.
Radhika.
Dans le jardin de Radhika,
In the garden, Radhika's
il y a
garden,
un temple merveilleux.
there's a wonderful
Et
temple.
quelle est la déité?
What is the deity?
C'est Krishna.
It's Krishna.
Donc pensez
So, thinking that the
Pranamasaka
Pranamasaka does not have Madhurya,
c'est vraiment dans l'ignorance.
it is really in ignorance,
L'ignorance complète.
complete ignorance,
Vraiment complète.
but really total.
Et donc,
And so,
lorsqu'ils approchent les pieds
when they approach his feet
et que Krishna pense à
and
Radhika,
Krishna thinks
la
about
beauté de
Radhika,
Krishna est particulièrement
the beauty
belle.
of Krishna is especially
Et surtout
beautiful,
ses pieds.
but especially his feet.
Ils brillent
They shine
d'une douceur particulière.
with a special sweetness.
C'est les signes sous ses pieds
It is the signs of in his
qui
feet
sont particulièrement beaux.
that become especially beautiful,
Parce que Krishna
because
exprime son
Krishna
amour pour sa bien-aimée.
expresses his love for his beloved.
Pour masser
So,
ses pieds,
to massage his feet
dans ces moments-là,
in these
il
moments,
faut connaître cette science des sentiments de Krishna.
one has to know the science of the feelings of Krishna.
C'est pas possible autrement.
It's not possible otherwise.
Si vous ne pouvez pas voir les
If you
sentiments
cannot
que
see
Krishna exprime,
the feelings that Krishna experiences, how can you massage his feet to accompany his feelings?
c'est une science.
It is a science.
C'est la science de l'amour.
It is the science of
Car
love.
après, tous les sentiments.
Because in Braj, everything is a feeling.
Et là,
And when
que ces Pranamasakas spéciaux,
these special Pranamasakas, because there are different categories of Pranamasakas, it's not known in fact,
il y a plein de catégories
but
de
there are many categories of Pranamasakas.
Ceux-là,
But these ones,
ils sont comme
they're just
une
like
femelle avec un corps masculin.
a female with a masculine body,
Et ils peuvent tout
and they can
ressentir ce que Krishna ressent.
feel everything that Krishna
Ils
feels.
peuvent même parfois
They can even
être
sometimes
des instruments de Radharani,
be instruments of Radharani,
où ils ressentent
or where they feel they feel Radhika
en fait de leur corps,
using
masser les pieds.
using their body to massage the feet of Krishna. It goes up to that point.
Mais c'est une expérience.
But it is an experience.
On n'a pas l'expérience,
When we don't have the experience, we cannot understand these things.
pas possible.
It is not possible.
Qui s'occuperait des sentiments de Krishna
Who will take care of Krishna's feelings
quand Krishna est séparé?
when Krishna is separated from Radhika?
Quelqu'un qui comprend rien?
Someone who understands nothing?
Quelqu'un qui n'a pas accès à ses sentiments?
Someone who doesn't have access to his feelings?
Eh Baba,
Hey Baba,
quel genre de personne tu es?
which kind of person are you
Dire que c'est
to say
associé spécial
that these special associates of Krishna, they don't have Madhurya?
C'est une grande erreur.
It is a great mistake.
Tu peux passer pour un grand érudit,
You can pass for a great scholar,
mais c'est juste de la prétention.
but it is just pretension.
C'est pourquoi
That is why
Vraj est inconcevable.
Braj is inconceivable.
C'est pas juste ce qui est écrit dans les livres.
It is not just what is
C'est
written in
illimité
books.
les sentiments en Vraj
The feelings are unlimited in Braj,
et les possibilités.
and the possibilities.
On doit toujours laisser
We must
place
always leave the
pour
space
l'achintya,
for the achintya,
ce qui est inconcevable.
that which is inconceivable.
Ça nous dépasse.
It surpasses us.
Lorsqu'on n'a pas de
When we
bhajan
do not have bhajan
et de réalisation sur Braj,
and realizations about Braj, we put etiquettes.
c'est les gyani.
It is the Gyani.
C'est pas des bhaktas,
They're not
c'est
bhaktas,
des gyani.
they're Gyanis.
Ils voient les écritures,
They see the
ils
scriptures,
mettent les étiquettes.
they put the etiquettes.
Ah, c'est comme ça.
It is like that.
C'est comme ça.
It is like that.
Mais en fait,
But in fact,
c'est pas la nature de Braj.
this is not the nature of Braj.
Vous savez, les acharyas révèlent
You know, the Acharyas reveal
qu'il y a une telle connexion entre
that
les habitants de Braj
there's such connection
avec
in
d'autres
between
habitants de Braj.
the inhabitants of Braj and others and inhabitants of Braj.
Parlons par exemple des nénuphars.
Let us speak about the nenuphars,
Dans certains lacs,
the water lilies, the leaves of them,
qui
in certain lakes,
incarnent les sentiments de Radhika.
which incarnate the feelings of Radhika.
Quand Radhika
When Radhika
et certaines gopis
and certain gopis,
mettent leur voile sur leur visage,
they put their veil on their face,
alors les nénuphars,
then the water lilies, they
au
close
même moment.
at the same time.
Il n'y a pas de Madhurya.
There's no Madhurya? There's no Madhurya in the water lily?
Baba,
Hey Baba,
ouvre ton cœur,
open your heart.
faut chanter,
You have to chant
sans vouloir être un gourou,
without wanting to become a guru,
sans vouloir avoir des disciples.
without wanting to have disciples.
Donc ça, c'est pas possible.
So this is not possible.
De quelle manière
In which
tout
way?
est interconnecté.
Everything is interconnected.
Les fleurs ont des positions tellement élevées.
The flowers have such elevated positions.
Radhika,
Radhika,
elle peut directement déverser ses sentiments dans les fleurs.
she can directly pour our feelings in the flowers,
Dans les arbres,
in the trees,
dans les oiseaux,
in the birds,
dans la brise.
in the breeze.
Tout est possible.
Everything is possible
Parce que tout est personnel.
because everything is personal.
Par exemple,
For example,
vous avez la possibilité,
you have the
quand
possibility
vous vous associez avec une personne plus élevée,
when you associate with a higher, more elevated
de
person
ressentir les sentiments.
to feel feelings.
Et si vous devenez pur,
And if you become
vous pouvez
pure,
recevoir le cœur du sadhu.
you can receive the heart of the sadhu.
Si vous avez cette possibilité,
If you have this
que
possibility,
dire les habitants de Braj,
what to speak of the inhabitants of Braj?
tout le monde baigne
Everybody is bathing
dans la miséricorde.
in the mercy.
Et cette miséricorde,
And this mercy,
elle se distribue.
it distributes itself.
Quand Mahaprabhu est venu,
When Mahaprabhu came
il a
on earth,
distribué
he distributed
cette miséricorde.
this mercy.
Et bien de la même manière, quand
Well,
Radhika passe dans
In the same way, when Radhika passes,
alors son amour
Then,
pour Krishna
her love for
qui
Krishna,
émane d'elle
which emanates from her,
entre dans le cœur de tous les êtres.
enters into the heart of all living beings.
Tout devient doré,
Everything becomes golden. Everywhere.
tout devient imprégné de ses sentiments.
Everything becomes infused with her feelings.
C'est pas le Madhurya.
Is there not Madhurya?
Les arbres, ils deviennent tellement intoxiqués.
The trees, they become so much
Une
intoxicated.
capture tellement radicale qui est entrée en eux.
They capture so much Radhika that entered in
Ils
them
prennent une forme,
that they take
ils ressemblent à Radhika.
a form where they look like
Quand
Radhika.
Krishna, il voit cette
When
forme,
Krishna sees this form,
il les étreint
he embraces
comme
them,
sa bien-aimée.
just like his beloved.
Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas de Madhurya?
Is there no Madhurya?
Donc,
So,
Braj est inconcevable.
Braj is inconceivable,
Mais il y en a qui disent,
but certain say,
il n'y a pas de Madhurya.
there's no Madhurya.
C'est des grands tricheurs.
They are great cheaters.
Ils se font passer pour des grands
They pass themselves for great
C'est
devotees,
des grands tricheurs.
but they are great cheaters.
Parce qu'en fait, ils
Because
se
in
servent
fact,
des Écritures
they use the scriptures
pour rabaisser,
to diminish, minimize the Brajbasis,
et pour en glorifier certains.
and to glorify certain
Mais
ones.
ce n'est pas l'état d'esprit de Braj.
But this is not the state of mind of Braj.
On n'obtient pas Braj de cette manière.
We don't obtain Braj in this
On
way.
n'est pas introduit
We are not
à la
introduced
beauté de Braj de cette manière.
by the beauty of Braj in this way.
C'est pourquoi
That is why
on doit toujours avoir
we must always
la
have
conception
the conception,
Achintya.
achintya.
C'est inconcevable.
It is inconceivable.
Tout est possible.
Everything is possible.
Tout ce qu'on désire
Everything we desire
atteint.
can be attained.
Pas de limite.
There's no limit.
C'est très important.
It's really important.
C'est pourquoi, bien que on
That is why,
dépeint
although
la shisha de Anantashesh,
why we depict the form of Anantashesh,
il voit Krishna.
he sees Krishna.
Parce que c'est la nature
It is the nature
du dévot de Krishna.
of Krishna's devotee to see Krishna.
Et d'ailleurs,
And also,
Gargamuni,
Gargamuni,
il ne voulait pas déranger
he did not want to disturb
l'humeur de Nanda et Yashoda.
the mood of Nanda and Yashoda.
Mais
But
qu'est-ce qu'il a dit?
what did he say?
Votre enfant,
Your child.
pour pas dire qu'il était avatar,
To not say that he was Avatari, the source of all avatars. He said that he will be the equal of Narayan,
comme si qu'il recevait la grâce du Seigneur.
just like he would receive the grace of the Lord. That's what Nanda Maharaj understood.
Et il a prédit
And he
qu'il était
predicted
déjà
that
apparu
he already appeared
dans d'autres yugas,
in other yugas,
hein, sous une forme rouge,
in
blanche, jaune.
in a red, white, yellow, blue and yellow form.
Mais Vishwanath, en fait,
But Vishwanath explains
alors qu'un
that
certain mot
there's a certain word
du verset
of the verse
qui prouve
which proves
que lorsque Gargamuni
that when Gargamuni explained
que leur enfant
that
apparaissait dans d'autres
their
formes,
child appeared in other forms,
que ces formes étaient
that these forms were
des émanations partielles de Krishna.
plenary portions of Krishna.
C'est pourquoi cette forme
That's why this yellow
ne
form
dépeint pas Mahaprabhu.
does not depict Mahaprabhu.
Parfois, certains dévots
Sometimes certain devotees say
disent que ce verset
that
décrit la
this
forme
verse
de
describes the form of Mahaprabhu.
Vishwanath, il dit
But Vishwanath, he
pas la même
says,
chose.
he does not say the same thing. He says
Que ces incarnations qui
that
sont
these
décrites par
incarnations
Gargamuni à ce moment
that are described by Gargamuni at
sont
this
des
moment
manifestations partielles.
are partial plenary portions.
Indirectement, Gargamuni
And indirectly, Gargamuni
a expliqué
explained
que Krishna était l'origine de
that
ces
Krishna was the origin of all these incarnations, but it was disguised in fact to not disturb the mood of Nanda and Yashoda.
Mais bien sûr,
But of course,
ils étaient très contents
They were
d'avoir un tel fils.
really happy to have such a son.
Bon, on n'a pas trop de temps.
We don't have too much time.
On parlera
Oui.
une autre fois de cette
We speak another time about
vision de Nanda,
this vision of Nanda Yashoda,
l'enfant,
their child,
l'évolution.
and the evolution.
Jai.
Jai.